Hello, folks, and welcome to another session of Growth Digger, where we talk about everything growth, not just at the top of the funnel, but every stage of the funnel through creative marketing, through better sales processes, and focus on customer success. And today we have Heidi DeCoux with us. She's a serial entrepreneur and she's had 3 successful exits. And right now she's working on her latest tech adventure wherein they are building AI-based bookkeeping for solopreneurs or small businesses. So welcome, Heidi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great. At Growth Digger, we really like to talk about growth and how things we have done have uniquely fostered growth. Give us an example. You had 3 successful exits. So let's talk about one of those companies where you led growth and what that story was like.
Yeah, so I believe in moving fast. It's your greatest leverage and advantage. You don't actually have to be smarter than everyone else. You need to move faster when they're still figuring out the idea, you should have already made 3 or 4 mistakes and course corrected and now be finding some traction. So the last business that I built and sold, I launched it from my dining room that was under construction. I got some college kids to come and record the video. I didn't even build the product. I knew it was going to be an online program. I wanted it to be a membership. And I had tested a few target markets before that and had identified this specific target market. And so I just launched it with cold ads to this market to test the messaging, test the idea before I actually built the program to deliver. And I knew if it didn't work, if it flopped, I just refund the people that bought and then never build the program. If it did work, then I would build and deliver simultaneously, work out kinks. These would become like the founding members. And then I could up the price later and have this flushed out packaged program. And so I launched it. It was $12,000 all in launch, including all the ads and everything. That business netted 6 figures its first year, and I sold it for 7 figures 5 years later. And it was that I found the right niche and I had a good offering for that niche, something that they were really interested in. And then I just moved fast. I believe you can never figure it all out in your head. You have to start doing and then course correcting. And so just like you need to get into action and be doing. I think a lot of entrepreneurs sit and think, and you're never going to get it all figured out in your head. Make your best plan, and then just like you have to execute. You got to get in the trenches and execute, and then just course correct. And that's what's going to get you further faster.
No, I agree, what you're saying in terms of don't try to make it perfect before you launch it. Get in the market, because whether it's a product or a service, it only gets perfected by customers using it. So whatever you have in your head,
perfect, no matter what. You could spend 4 years and $10 million, and I promise you, when you go to market, you're going to realize everything that's wrong with what you built. So you don't have a money problem, you don't have a time problem, you have a not getting into action problem.
Exactly. And I think that's the key is you got an idea, get to the minimum viable product. And I worked in the SaaS industry, the software industry for many years. And that's what the terminology we use is build a minimal viable product, launch it, let customers use it, use that feedback to perfect the product. And while you kind of keep acquiring more customers and start building the revenue line. So that's wonderful. And as we were talking earlier, you were talking about and how you feel very strongly about it. So give us your view on AI and the role you think AI can play, not just in small businesses, but in general, like in change that it can bring in how businesses operate and how AI can be a catalyst for growth as well.
Yeah. AI is moving faster than most people realize. It's going to be embedded into many areas of your daily life in the very near future. It's already seeping in ways that you actually don't realize. And what I see that a lot of marketers and solopreneurs and just business people in general are being, I think, a little too cautious and a little too slow to adapt. And that is like hurting your speed. You can actually leverage it in so many ways to move faster, to do 5 times the output at 10 times the quality. And it's easier than you realize. Now, I think that there's an overwhelm because there's like new AI tools coming out all the time. And if you're on Instagram or TikTok or whatever your flavor social media of choice is, you're getting bombarded by the 5 best AI apps and then the 10 great, and they're all different and they all do different things, and it's like very overwhelming. And so I think that kind of has helped freeze people, when the reality is you can just pick off one a week that you're going to experiment and do. Now, if you're not regularly, like multiple times a day, using whichever LLM is your choice, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, I'm somebody that actually has 3 of them pinned. So I have pro accounts with ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Claude because they're all like better at different things, and I keep them pinned in my browser. And the ChatGPT is the one on my phone, that just because when I'm doing phone stuff, that's the better one that for me in my personal life anyway. And you should be talking and engaging with them all day, every day. And as far as marketers, here's a very simple thing that you can implement in your business right now that is going to increase your output and the quality of your output, and the onboarding of it, like the setting it all up, you can do in like an hour. Here's what it is. You want to get some AI bots that are set up in your ChatGPT. And I recommend ChatGPT for this because it's I think the best one for this particular.
They've come the longest way so far.
Yeah. And so you want to like a copywriting one, a viral hooks one, a viral video one, etc. And then you tell them, you basically program them by talking to them. You give them like your brand book, if you have one, your ideal client avatar, all of that. If you're doing it for clients, then of course, for every client, you would put their information in and get an output. And you can either create these or you can literally just, buy them, and they're very inexpensive. There's a guy, I think it's Darius. Just Google like DARIUS AI Trooper. I think it'll come up like Darius Academy. He'll sell you like 70 for, I don't know, like $100 or something like that. And you can just copy them in. The onboarding is super easy. In an hour, they're all set up in your account. You can have them all programmed, and now they can be creating repurposed content for you, video scripts for you, like all of that in conjunction with you. You can't just 100% outsource it, but they can create an outline, and then you work with that, and then you send them the draft, and then they give you suggestions and ideas, and you go back and forth, and all of a sudden your output is so much faster, and you end up with a much higher quality stuff because it thinks of things that you're not thinking of.
No, absolutely. And we at Growth Native, that's the company that I'm the founder CEO at, we've got about 350 people in our company that are helping customers with digital transformation. And we also do a lot of marketing and content and social media related stuff as part of the services we offer. All our marketing teams, and in fact, all our digital transformation teams as well, they are certainly deeply entrenched in using AI. Even our consultants that are working on packaged software like Microsoft, Salesforce, Adobe, HubSpot, and then also like the developers that are coding new software that can be used by our customers, all of them are using certain elements of AI in their work life. And
Right.
It is having a tremendous amount of impact on our output that we can generate. And not
And
just
I highly recommend people use it in your personal life too, because the more streamlined your personal life is and that your personal needs are being met, the more time, energy, and bandwidth you have to make money, right?
or to
So you
work,
need
or, yeah.
help at home.
Using,
And
yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just give you a quick example from my personal life. So annually I get like my physical with all, and I do an extra special tons of blood tests and urine. When I run like a million tests, I'm a little bit of a biohacker and whatever. And so I had done my annual thing. I had these like 12 lab reports. And so I put them in ChatGPT. Now I did, prompting matters, become an expert prompter, take a course on prompting matters. So I prompted it with what my specific goals are in my health goals, what I care about,
Yep.
what I want to know. I also said, you have all of the knowledge of, and I listed out 10 of the biohacking doctors that I follow and that I believe in their advice, and said, you have all of their expert knowledge. And these are da. And so here's what I said, and then you have to tell it to ask you questions. I said, ask me questions that I'm not thinking to have told you, right? Ask me questions about my life. Yep. So then it started and it dove in, and it actually, I had forgotten, which I never would have said this to my doctor in the office because she never would have like dove in as deep as ChatGPT with me, but it was because it was asking me all these questions that got me thinking. And I was like, oh, I actually recently have been waking up in the middle of the night and it's taking a long time to get back to sleep. So then I told it that. It came back and it said, basically it was like, yeah, it makes perfect sense because of this and this in your labs. Here's what you need to do. You need to double your magnesium, take these supplements, lower your room temperature to 67. It gave me a list. I did that list that night. I did wake up, but only for 30 minutes. The next night, I did the list every night. I've done the list every night since then. Starting the second night, I have fully slept through the night every single night going forward. By the way, 3 weeks later, my doctor still hadn't even looked at my lab reports and called me. And I had already had a full analysis. I was now sleeping through the night, which makes me a more productive entrepreneur during the day, right? And had all this like great information. And I got way more out of ChatGPT that I know that I'm going to get. And I actually like my doctor. I've got concierge medical, but she just doesn't have the time. She doesn't have extensive knowledge. Like, I'm just not going to get that level of service. So I'm still going to meet with her and finish my physical, but I'm off to the races. Day one that I had my lab reports, I was making changes that night and it was positively affecting my life. Meanwhile, 3 weeks later, I still don't have a call from my doctor. So that's like things that you can do to just simplify your personal life.
But how do you, again, I think I totally believe that if you have a better personal life and if you have more time, more organized personal life, your professional life certainly seems to do better. No questions. They're like hand in glove with each other. But the example that you just gave, on the healthcare side, do you think using AI to help you decide the changes that you need to make? I guess, lifestyle changes and maybe some supplements that you need to take here and there. I think that's probably good. Mm-hmm. But do you think it is good enough that one should actually really rely on AI for like true medical advice as well?
No, AI hallucinates. The changes it was telling me was like, do red light, this kind of exercise at this time of day, this temperature,
some lifestyle changes,
vitamins. None of this is going to, even if it's wrong about a couple of these things, it was suggesting all very healthy lifestyle things that were going to help with my specific set of facts and my goal, which was sleep through the night. And it knew my lab reports, it knew that I was like low in these things, etc. Now, if it came back and said, we think I have lupus or something like that, I'm going to then schedule but what it will do then though is it will prompt me like, oh my gosh, I need to get into the doctor. I probably need to get into a specialist. I need to ask the doctors 1,000 questions. I need to take control here. I need to order a lot more testing. And so I'm not going to just let a doctor push me around and be like, it's probably not that. We ran one simple test. It didn't seem like anything, and just shoo me out the door, right? I know that if it's telling me that, now I'm going to
It's giving you the depth. It's giving you a very in-depth. It's giving you a very in-depth analysis of your health situation, and it could be giving you like 10 suggestions. 8 of them could be tangents, but like 2 of them could be real and really kind of dive. But let's dive a little bit deeper into what else do you think? I love this idea about focus on your personal health, focus on your productivity on the personal life so that you can be more productive in everything else. Any other suggestions, hacks that you have that you've used successfully?
Yeah. So on my personal life, recently we had this time of year, I like to host like little cocktail parties and stuff at my house. It's a great time to get friends together that it's hard to stay in regular contact with. I've got my core group, but then the broader group, life gets busy. So
Like
I find it
everybody, yeah.
yeah. So one efficiency thing that I do is I just host like a 4 to 7 p.m. Saturday cocktail party. I'll do a few of them this time of year. And then I can get 20 people at a time and I get to like connect with these 20 people, keep those relationships going. And I just use ChatGPT. Basically, I'm like, this is how many people, I want all finger food, I want easy, and it just like spits out a grocery list, a this, a that. I hand it to my housekeeper and I'm like, here's the plan for Saturday. This is what time the party is. Have the house ready, have everything ready. I need everything cleaned up at this time and just done. I can just do the whole thing very quickly and effectively.
Great. So that's wonderful. Anything else, Heidi, you would like to talk about? We haven't talked about your bookkeeping
Yeah.
AI-powered software. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, we can talk about that. So, actually, before we get into that, let me give you some of my predictions on AI, and then that
Yes.
will be a good lead into what I'm working on right now and why I think the work that I'm doing now is important and is going to be really game changing. So, here's my belief with AI. I believe that, so we are technically in Web 2 right now. Now, the general public thinks that we're in Web 1 because they missed Web 1, because Web 1 was nerds and early adopters and future hackers and right. And but we're actually in Web 2 and we are straddling Web 3. There's a whole portion of the web that's in Web 3. My belief is that we're actually going to just cruise through over Web 3 and we're going to have full adoption, not in Web 3, but in Web 4, because Web 4 is AI backed Web 3. And when you AI back Web 3, you create really powerful and positive use cases for the average person, which is why people adopted Web 2 and not Web 1. Web 1 didn't have a bunch of use cases for the average person.
Yeah.
But in Web 2, big companies like Google and Amazon, and they started these interactive services, launching them, which was the birth of Web 2. And then people are like, oh, this internet thing makes my life better. There's like things I can do that are actually useful. And then everybody started getting on the internet, right? And then the internet grows and grows. So Web 3 right now is a lot of the crypto bros, early adopters, blockchain people, that group. And so it's not getting full adoption, but we're going to back it with AI. And then we're going to birth Web 4, which I believe we're actually already starting to birth now. And that's going to take full adoption. And it's the thing with technology is the faster it moves, the faster it moves. It's the compound effect. So AI is going to be embedded in almost every area of your life in the very, very near future. Now, I do think we need to be thoughtful about AI and all that. Now, we're not going to have the whole Terminator thing and whatnot. Like you can read why, but that's not what's going to happen with AI. There's other things to be concerned about for sure. However, there is really positive things with AI that you can harness in your day-to-day life. And so here's an example of that. Now, what we're doing at my company, which is Cashflowy.ai, Flowy is spelled with a Y, so Cashflowy.ai. And so we are essentially bookkeeping, AI, bookkeeping and invoicing for solopreneurs, micro businesses, and we get rid of the need for a human bookkeeper. AI, a highly great use of AI would be accounting. And I think that AI is actually going to take over all areas of our accounting. In 2025, we're going to be able to do people's tax returns as well using AI. So it's going to be the cost of an H&R Block, but the quality is if you paid like a $4,000 or $5,000 CPA. So it's going to have dramatically better quality with lower costs. Our bookkeeping AI, so just so you know, a good human bookkeeper is around 70% accurate. We are in beta. We are not actually to market yet. We don't go to market until early Q1. We are 94% accurate today in beta on MVP, right? And so like our target market, so like a solopreneur is like our main target market. Right now, you can either do it manually on a spreadsheet, which 69% of our target market's doing, right? Which is a lot of work and a lot of time that you're not putting into actually working with clients, getting clients, making more money in your business, and a ton of room for error. Or you can get a clunky, expensive software like a QuickBooks, a Xero, a FreshBooks, which the reason it feels clunky for you is it's not made for you. It's made for a bigger business. So it has 1,000 features you will never use. It has a complicated dashboard. So often then they have to go hire a human bookkeeper to do the software for them because the software is so complicated. Now you're paying $200-300 a month for a human that's maybe 70% accurate. And you ask them a question, it takes them 2-3 days to get back to you to run the software. And then when we ask them about their numbers, like what the key numbers in their business, they don't actually know them. So they have just enough information to do their taxes, but they don't actually have enough information to make smart decisions on their business. And so we're solving all of that with a highly affordable, sleek, elegant software where the AI bookkeeper does it all for you. Any solopreneur can manage their entire business financials on Cashflowy.ai in less than 1 hour a month. You can do it yourself. Even if you don't have tech skills, even if you hate accounting and don't know anything about it, it's that simple. Honestly, your teenager could do it for you in under an hour a month. You have an elegant dashboard that shows you exactly what you need to know, the numbers that you should know in your business. And we're going to be doing trainings then on what those numbers mean and how to make smarter business decisions based on those numbers. And that's like free to all of our members, like short little bite-size things. So that's the market that, we're targeting. And in the US, that's the biggest market. They're 27 million. It's the fastest growing. It's expected to be 42 million by 2026 because especially Gen Zers, they all want to be, freelancers, digital nomads, coaches, consultants, therapists, things like that, and have flexible time, flexible money. They have a lifestyle business. And so that's the main target that we're going after. Obviously, you can use Cashflowy for other use cases, but that's the primary market that we've built Cashflowy for. And then we'll eventually be launching Wellflowy, which is going to manage all your personal finances in a way that has never been done before and is like extremely exciting and going to help you grow your net worth and really understand how to do that in a super smart, highly affordable, and efficient way. I'm building something that I believe is game changing and to be incredibly valuable to people. And there's other people doing the same thing. So we're finding ways to leverage AI to make all of our lives easier and better. I don't believe that you should be spending your precious time here on this earth on like numbers on spreadsheets and entering expenses and categorizing income. Like you should spend your precious time with your loved ones, taking care of your health, working out, seeing new clients. And this should all be done automated for you. So yes, AI is going to take a lot of jobs, as it should. What I want to do is free people up to be in their creative best self, doing their powerful, good work in the world, not bogged down by minutia and admin work. We don't need humans to do that, right? Like think about the Industrial Revolution. Factories got efficient and got machines, and that took away a lot of those jobs. But we can then, those people that would be in those jobs, we can educate and they can do things that are much more exciting and fulfilling. They're not just standing there doing like this.
Much more valuable, much more
40 hours a day or 40 hours a week. That's crazy. That's not healthy. Like you're going to die young doing that, right? Let's instead figure out what your core genius is. And let's help you unleash that. And now artists can create more art and coaches can do more coaching and dads can do more momming and dadding and not have their sit down on Sunday night to figure out the budget and the bills and the this. Let's have the robots do all that. And so that you can be at the park with your kids. How about that? And they will do a better job. They will give you better information. And then you can make smarter decisions with that information.
No, I think I totally agree. I think AI is a game changer. It's going to change the way we conduct business, conduct our personal lives. And like you said, if we're smart enough, we use it for mundane things and free up a ton of time that we can actually focus that time and energy on things that we love doing and things that are more impactful. Heidi, I would like to thank you for being a wonderful guest. And I'm sure our listeners have learned a thing or two from the chat that we just had. I love the part where the focus on yourself is really a focus on everything else in your life, basically. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.